بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما ألهم والثناء بما قدم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله كلمة جعل الإخلاص تأويلها والصلاة والسلام على صاحب الوقار والسكينة المدفون بأرض مدينة أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل رسوله المختار الأبرار والأتحار الذين كلامهم نور وأمرهم رشد ووصيتهم التقوى وفعلهم الخير وعادتهم الإحسان وسجيتهم الكرم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى بنتك المظلومة المغصوبة. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ما خاب من تمسك بكم أمن من لجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أكثر الخير في النساء. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. They say one of the companions of the fifth Imam Salamullahi alayhi asks Imam al-Baqir about what creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most useful to shaitan. So which of all of the creation in the heavens and in the earth is most useful for shaitan in deceiving the human beings? So Imam Baqir Salamullahi alayhi replied by saying that according to shaitan, the most precious creation to shaitan in deceiving the human beings is a woman, because according to shaitan, a woman is qurratu aini, is the light of my eyes. When a woman is existing, I am very easily able to deceive the human beings. Then this companion asks Imam al-Baqir, and what is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is most hated by shaitan? So that creation which is the biggest barrier between shaitan and deceiving the human beings. Imam Baqir Salamullahi alayhi replied that the most hateful creation in the eyes of shaitan is also the woman. In other words, Imam al-Baqir Salamullahi alayhi is telling us that when a woman is religious, when a woman has taqwa, when a woman has religiosity, she will change all of those around her. When a woman is religious, when a woman is following the religion and the path, it becomes very difficult for shaitan to deceive the people that are surrounding that woman. And if a woman, on the contrary, in the opposite direction, is irreligious, is is not muttaqi, for example, is committing sins, it becomes very easy for shaitan to deceive her and those in her community. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us how great a woman, how great the role of a woman is in society. That if a woman is pure, the people around her will be pure. If a woman is impure, most likely the people around her will be impure. The woman, therefore, is the core of the society. The woman is that individual that will affect whether a community is a community close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or whether a community is a community far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And often you find that if, for example, you have a child, this child, very young, knows many surahs of Quran, for example. Often we say the mother was someone that taught the child, or the child had a sister or an auntie that taught the child about these surahs of Quran. The woman, therefore, is central in affecting the faith and the iman of those around her. And we find many examples of this. We find many examples when, for example, a woman has increased her faith and caused the faith of those of her relatives and those close to her as well. For example, we are told during the time of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, there was a Christian by the name of Sun, a Christian monk, priest, someone who followed Rahbaniya. This Sun had a son by the name of A'yan. His son A'yan, we are told, when he is born after maybe 20 years of his life, he turns into or converts to the religion of Islam. This A'yan then has one daughter and more than 10 sons. A'yan and his children, his offspring, they did not follow the Islam of Ahlul Bayt. A'yan and his sons and his children, they followed the Islam that was against Wilayah of Ahlul Bayt, salamullahi alayhim. We are told 10 of these sons, one daughter, this daughter was called Sud. This daughter in her life, we are told, comes to the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Look at the role of a woman. Look how powerful a woman is. This woman, she comes to the religion of Ahlul Bayt, the path of Ahlul Bayt, the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. She begins talking to her brothers. أكثر الخير في النساء. The woman is very influential. She begins talking to her brothers. As they talk to her one by one, each and every single one of them follows and comes to the path of Ahlul Bayt. One of them you would have heard of Zurara ibn A'yan. Another one you would have heard of Hamran ibn A'yan. These are very big narrators of ahadith. They had children who were narrators of ahadith, who were companions of the Imam. They had children who were companions who were narrators of ahadith. Because of this one woman, we have maybe 2,000, 3,000 ahadith. Just because of this one woman accepting what? Accepting the madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhi wasalam. And this is what is meant when Imam Baqir salamullahi alayhi says that the most precious to shaitan is a woman. The most dangerous to shaitan is also a woman. Tonight our discussion inshallah is focused around one of these women. One of these very inspirational women by the name of Shatita. Many of you, inshallah, would have visited Iran for ziyarah. When you go to Iran, when you go to Mashhad al-Muqaddas, Khurasan, you often go to a place by the name of Nashapour. Nashapour is important for a few reasons. For example, in Nashapour we have the place Qadamgah. Qadamgah, as we know, when Imam al-Ridha, salamullahi alayhi, is traveling to Marv, he goes through Nashapour, his followers are there. The place where he put his feet, the place where he drank water and did ghusl, all of these are present. The place where he mentioned the very famous hadith known as the golden hadith of Imam al-Ridha, where he says, La ilaha illallah hisni, faman dakhala hisni amana min adhabi, walakin bishartiha wa shurutiha wa ana min shurutiha. This is in Nashapour. In Nashapour, you will also find the grave of this lady by the name of Shatita. This lady Shatita, her story is very interesting, which consists of an individual traveling from Nashapour to Medina. Why is this story our center of discussion? Because in this story, as we look at this story goes on, we find many reflections about the environment of that time within which Shatita lived, and currently us living in the Western world. So us living in the Western world here today in London, there are many reflections of the environment and the situation in the story of Shatita with regards to our environment today. Which is why, inshallah, today's lecture is titled From Nashapour to Medina. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The people of Nashapour, at this time within this story is said, they lived during the 6th Imam, salamullah alayhi. So the end of the 6th Imam's life was when this story is set. And we are told these people felt that they lived very far away from the Imam. Of course, Nashapour, Iran, is very far away from Medina. And the Imam lives in Medina. They felt disconnected from the Imam, very similar to the way in which we feel disconnected from religiosity living in this country. They came together one year. They said, look, we have money of khums to give to the Imam. We have questions to ask to the Imam. We need guidance from the Imam. We are very far from the Imam with regards to distance. He is very far away. And there are many individuals that are claiming to be representatives of Imam al-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi. There are many individuals that say they are authorized to take money from Imam al-Sadiq. There are many individuals that say they are authorized to answer questions from Imam As-Sadiq salamullah alayhi. So we have a problem. We don't know who is correct. We don't know who is incorrect. We don't know who is a true representative. And we don't know who is a fraudster. Therefore, we need to do something about this because they were so far away from Medina, from the Imam. They gathered together one day. And Shatita, this lady, this elderly lady, she is part of this community. They gathered together. They decided that we have many questions with regards to Hajj, with regards to inheritance, many questions that we want to ask the Imam. And we have all of this money, this wealth, which is the haqq of the Imam, the right of the Imam. We can't just keep this money of khums. The Imam is alive. We have to give him the money of khums. So we will appoint an individual who is trustworthy. We will tell this individual, take all of this money, take all of these questions, go to the Imam directly and tell him we have this problem in Nashapour. Either you send a representative, you give us a problem to our answer. Again, the first reflection we find, the first similarity, in the same way that they felt far away from religiosity, they felt far away from the center of religion. Many of us feel that we are far away from the center of the religion today. For example, religion of Islam, Shia madhab is centered in Najaf, in Karbala, in Mashhad, in Qom, in these places. Ulama are there, religion is there. Many times we feel living here in the West, we are very far away, we are disconnected. And so we have the same problem. We want to ask questions, we are far away. We feel disconnected from the Imam as well, living in this country sometimes. This country is not a country where we are surrounded by followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. In the same way, those individuals. What did they decide to do? They decided to appoint an individual, a person by the name of Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Nashapouri. So they tell Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, it is your job, you will go to Medina, you will speak to the Imam, you will solve our problems insha'Allah. So all of them came. They gave the money that they had stacked up, they had collected, the money of khums, the other Jews, and all of their questions, all of their masail of fiqh. The total, we are told, according to history, he had 3,000 dinar, 50,000 dirham, and about 1,000 pieces of clothing to give to the Imam. As he is about to leave, Shatita, an elderly lady, says, where is this Muhammad ibn Ibrahim? Where is the individual who is going to Medina to visit my Imam? He said, he's just about to leave. She says, I haven't given him my due of khums. So she stops him. She says, Ya Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, I have to give you my share. How much is your share? Now he has 3,000 dinar already, 50,000 dirham already, 1,000 pieces of clothing already. A very big collection that he has to take. A very big responsibility. How much do you have, Ya Shatita? She says, I have 1 dirham. And I have 1 handkerchief as a gift to the Imam worth 4 dirham. So total 5 dirham. So he looked at her. And according to history, he said, you want me to take this? I have 3,000 dinar, 50,000 dirham, 1,000 pieces of clothing. You want me to take 1 dirham and 1 handkerchief? I am ashamed to give this in front of my Imam. I'm ashamed that I basically have, for example, hundreds of thousands of pounds. You want me to give me 1 pound coin to the Imam and say, this is from Shatita? This doesn't make sense. Shatita says to him, why do you have to be ashamed? This is the haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the right of the Imam. I do not want to be stopped on the day of judgment because of this 1 dirham which I did not give to my Imam of my time. So you take it, it's nothing to do with you. You have to give it to the Imam. It is between me and my Imam. So we are told Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, he accepts, he takes all of these things and he goes towards Medina. The first thing to understand here is that certain people in the community, any community, whether it be that community of Nashapour, whether it be our community living here in London, certain people are chosen or certain people stand up to take a responsibility on their neck. For example, ulama, this is wajib kifai. فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَرْقَةٍ مِنْهُمْ طَائِفَةٍ يتفقهوا في الدين. Some people from the community. For example, it is not wajib on everyone to do ghusl of mayyit. If one person has done it, one person has done salah of janazah, it is the wujub has gone off all others. In every community, there are certain individuals that will stand up and rise up and take the responsibility on their neck, like Muhammad ibn Ibrahim. These individuals, why do we respect the Imam of Jama'ah? Because the Imam of Jama'ah, the leader of Jama'ah, has taken the responsibility of all of the people's prayers on his own neck. Why are we told to respect the people that collect our khums? Because it's difficult for us ourselves to distribute the khums in the way that it should be distributed according to Sharia. If someone I trust is saying, I will distribute it for you, he is taking the sword and putting it on his own neck, which is why we respect those individuals. Which is why we respect the Imam of Jama'ah, because he is taking all of your salah and putting it on his neck. And not everyone has this role. Certain people in the community. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, this individual, was very worried, very stressed that I have all of this khums to take to Medina. We are told on his route, he stops in Kufa, and first he goes to the ziyarah of Amirul Mu'mineen, Salamullah alayhi. After doing ziyarah of Amirul Mu'mineen, Muhammad ibn Ibrahim enters into Masjid al-Kufa. Now, as we know, Masjid al-Kufa, for those who have been, Masjid al-Kufa, during the reappearance of Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, Ajjallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The Imam will live in Masjid Sahla. He will have his headquarters in Masjid Kufa. Masjid Kufa, you have been, those who have been, there are many maqamat, many things very special there in Masjid Kufa. He says, after I did ziyarah of Amirul Mu'mineen, Salamullah alayhi, I entered into Masjid Kufa to recite the salah and the a'mal in each maqamat. So there's maqam Ibrahim, when Nabi Ibrahim came and prayed. There are different maqamat where Amirul Mu'mineen, for example, used to judge the people, and certain miracles took place of Amirul Mu'mineen, Salamullah alayhi. He says, I entered there. When I entered into Masjid al-Kufa, I saw a very old man sitting there. His eyebrows were drooping down towards his eyes. When a person is very elderly, very aged, the eyebrows droop down towards the eyes. He was sitting there, very simple clothing, and there were people surrounding him. I asked, who is this individual? Muhammad ibn Ibrahim meets a very important person in this journey of his. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim says, who is this individual? He is told, this is the great companion by the name of Abu Hamza al-Thumali, rahmatullahi alayh. Abu Hamza al-Thumali, actually known as Thabit bin Dinar. His title, Thumali, we are told that there was one of his ancestors by the name of Auf bin Aslam. Auf bin Aslam, this grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever, of Abu Hamza al-Thumali, was in a battle, was in a war. All of the people who were on his side were killed except for him. This term Thumala refers to that person who is left behind. So because he was left behind and he was not killed, all of him from his progeny were called Thumali. Abu Hamza Thumali is this individual. Abu Hamza Thumali, to understand the status of Abu Hamza, we know he is the companion of four of our Imam. Fourth Imam, fifth Imam, sixth Imam, seventh Imam. Imam al-Rida mentioned about Abu Hamza, he is the Salman al-Muhammadi of his time. This is enough for the status of Abu Hamza Thumali. He is the Salman al-Muhammadi al-Farji of his time. That Salman is on the 10th level of Iman, Abu Hamza in the same way. Abu Hamza is there. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim comes into this gathering. Abu Hamza Thumali says, who are you? Where have you come from? He says, I've come from Nashapour. Why? I am coming for this reason to meet my Imam. Abu Hamza Thumali stands up. He says, I hugged Muhammad ibn Ibrahim. I said, well done, that you are connecting your people with the Imam of your time. Abu Hamza Thumali says, I was sitting there, I was speaking to this Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, when suddenly I looked in front of me. When I looked in front of me, I said, can you see what is coming from there, from afar? And they looked. Ya Shaykh, Ya Abu Hamza, we can't see anything. He said, no, look, someone is coming. So after a while, we saw, yes, right enough, there's someone on horseback who is coming towards us. This person entered into Masjid al-Kufa. When he entered into Masjid al-Kufa, he sat down. Abu Hamza said, I asked him, where are you from? He says, I am from Medina to Nabi. I'm from Medina. Abu Hamza said, what is the news of Medina? What is new in Medina? He says, the current news in Medina is that our Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Salamullah alayhi, has passed away. Abu Hamza is upset, he stops. He says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The Imam has passed away. Has the Imam left any successor after him? This is the important point. Has the Imam, after he has passed away, left any successor after him? Yes, we know who came after Imam al-Sadiq, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim, salamullahi alayh. So the answer of this Medinan should be yes. The Imam, before he died, had said, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far is the Imam after me. This person says, yes, the Imam has left 3 individuals after him. We have 1/7 Imam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq has left 3 individuals. Who's the first individual? He says the first individual he has left after him is the Abbasid Khalif Mansur Dawaniqi. Okay. The second individual, Abdullah Aftah, his oldest son. The third individual is Musa ibn Ja'far, salamullahi alayh. Abu Hamza al-Thumaini says, I've understood. I understood who is the Imam. So Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, who is in a lot of problem, his job is to take all of that money, all of those questions and ask to the Imam. The Imam has passed away. Now there are 3 individuals who are claiming to be the Imam. Mansur Dawaniqi, Abbasid Khalif. You know, Dawaniq comes from the literal meaning of pennies. 1p coin. Why? Because when people would ask him beggars, even for a 1p coin, he would not give it to them. This is Mansur. 3 people are claiming, how do I know where to give this property of mine, this amana? Abu Hamza al-Thumaini says, I have understood who the Imam is. He says, how? He says, number 1, the reason why the Imam has chosen Mansur is because Mansur, if he is given this so-called status, he will not attack the Shia. So the Imam very cleverly has said, choose one of these after me, knowing that if I butter up, in my language, Mansur Dawaniqi, he will not attack the Shia. As for Abdullah Aftah had a problem with his eye, which is why he would cover his face. This is the meaning of Aftah. He would cover his face. Abu Hamza says, it is not possible for an Imam of Ahlul Bayt to have any deficiency. Why? Because the people, not the Imam, the people are such. If they see that our Imam is someone who only has one eye, will they follow him? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order is such that the Imam is perfect in every way, in appearance, in every other thing. And therefore I have understood that the Imam is Musa ibn Ja'far, salamullah alayhi. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim says, this doesn't make sense to me. How could it? It could be Abdullah Aftah. He says, no. Abu Hamza says, there is a clear hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, where he says, Ya Ali, understand that the eldest from the progeny of your Imams will be the next Imam, but the eldest without any defects. So Abu Hamza presented this hadith in front of Muhammad ibn Ibrahim as proof. Stop here. I said that there are many reflections between this story and our situation in the West. Number 1, we have mentioned that we are far away. Number 2, we have seen that when any individual is in confusion about his faith, according to this story, he goes to the companion and the true representative of the Imam. In the same way in the West, when we are confused about a certain mas'ala of religion, we should also go to the true representative of the Imam. At that time we had ashab and companions. At this time it is what we call marja of taqleed. This is clear and simple in the history of the Imam. That when I could not go to the Imam, I went to his true companion. The maraja of taqleed, the true ulama, are nothing but the true representatives of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam. And I don't know, unfortunately, how this new kind of whim has come that Marji'iyya started 200 years ago. How can it start 200 years ago? I'll give you an example, and I apologize for this example. This thing we call selfie, taking a photo of yourself. I apologize for this example. 5 years ago, someone would take a photo of him or herself. Was it called selfie? No, we didn't have the word at that time. 2 years ago or 1 year ago, they had this word linked to this act, but the act was still there 5-10 years ago. In the same way, Marji'iyya, Taqleed, Rasa'il Amaliyya, the title Ayatullah may not have been there 1300, however, 1,000 years ago, but the act was still there. That people, for example, bring this accusation, and this is a very silly accusation, that the first was mentioned about Taqleed was Shaykh Murtada Ansari rahmatullah alayh. No. All of the other ulama mentioned taqleed, but in the chapter with regards to being a judge. Look at Shara'i al-Islam, all of these other books. They mention taqleed and mujtahid and marja of taqleed, but they mention it in a different bab and chapter. Murtada Ansari, Shaykh al-Ansari al-Azim rahmatullah alayhi was the first to mention a specific chapter for taqleed. That's why some people have thought taqleed came 250 years ago. No. Imam Baqir in his life, salamullah alayhi, told his companion Aban, Ijlis fil masjid waftin nas. Sit in the masjid. I am here. I am in the same city as you. Sit in the Majjlis and give fatwa to the people. In other words, this concept of being a mufti, of giving fatwa, has come since the time of the Imam salamullahi alayhim. And this concept of taqleed, the first Rasail Amaliyah, maybe for example the book of Shaykh Tusi and Ni'aya, Shaykh Mufid had books of fiqh. We have many different Rasail Amaliyah. So don't let someone tell you that Rasail Amaliyah only started with, for example, said Kadhim Ha'ari, Taba'i Yazdi. No, we had them since the time of Shaykh Tusi. This system of taqleed and marji'iyah and ulama, in the way that Muhammad ibn Ibrahim is told, when you are confused, or go as he does, when he is confused, he goes to Abu Hamza al-Thumali. When we are confused and far away from our Imam, we go to the marja of taqleed. And there are beautiful hadith in the time of ghaibah that we are told in akhirah. The day of judgment comes, there's a group of people, their faces are completely covered in light. Angels say, is this a Nabi? Is this a group of Anbiya? Is this a group of awliya, saints of Allah? Are these a'imma, salamullahi alayhim? Allah replies, no, these are the ulama that did tabligh during the time of ghaibah. Because in the way that Shatita Muhammad ibn Ibrahim has this confusion, it is removed. By who? By Abu Hamza al-Thumali. Our confusion in this time when we are far away from religion is removed by these true ulama. Abu Hamza al-Thumali presents a hadith in front of him that the Prophet of Islam mentions. When this individual, Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, leaves Kufa, he goes and enters into Medina. So he has been told that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq has passed away, and there are one of three individuals who are the Imam after. Mansur Dawaniqi, Abdullah after, which is why Imam al-Sadiq is called Abu Abdullah, because his oldest son is Abdullah after, and Imam Musa ibn Ja'far sallallahu alayhi. He enters in. He says, I took all of the possessions I had, I kept it in the place I was staying. I went to the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. For the love of Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, a second salawat. As a gift to Sayyidah Fatimah al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, a third salawat. He says, I entered into the masjid, I recited ziyarah, etc. And then I asked the people in the masjid. Here again is a vital comparison between that situation and the situation today. He says, I entered into the masjid, I asked the people after my ziyarah and after my salah, I asked the people, who is the imam after Ja'far ibn Muhammad, salamullah alayh. The people directed me towards Abdullah after. Stop there. Today we have something called the media. At that time, what was the media of those people? Today we have social media, internet, the TV, all types of things, newspaper. At that time, the media was the masjid. When Muhammad ibn Ibrahim tries to come close towards the religion, tries to come close towards the Imam, he has been affected by the media of that time. Because the people in the masjid, for example, someone is killed, they would spread news about this killing in the masjid. A battle has taken place, they will spread the news in the masjid. A person has passed away, who is the successor? They will spread this in the masjid. The masjid was the media of that time, the media outlet. In the way that the media was so corrupt at that time that they declared Abdullah after to be the next Imam, we see the same thing about our media today. That the media of that time was corrupt. They directed him where? To the wrong Imam, to the wrong individual. There's a direct comparison and reflection in the state of the media today. And I'll give you an example. Media, propagation, publication. There was a scholar, he is still there, may Allah give him a long life, Dr. Isam Ahmad. Dr. Isam Ahmad used to be a Wahhabi leader in Sana'a in Yemen. He would lead the prayers in the central mosque of Sana'a. Yemen, Sana'a. He was the head of the Wahhabis, Dr. Isam Ahmad. Last time I heard, he's definitely Shia, he was studying in Qom. He converted to Shiism. He has written many books against Wahhabism as well. He was studying in Qom, Dr. Isam Ahmad. He's well known. in the religious circles. Dr. Isam Ahmad says, at the time that I was the leader of the Salah in Sana'a Central Mosque, he mentions openly, he says Saudi government would give me $1,000 for each khutbah I gave, with the condition, he mentions this, you can ask him, you can find him if you don't believe me, with the condition that I insult Ali ibn Abi Talib in that khutbah, in that sermon. At that time, the people of the mosque say, no, go to Abdullah Aftah, he is the Imam. We have the same thing today. The same corruption of media today. That when we look at these issues of Islamophobia, one of the issues I've been told to speak about, the same thing. The media, when it is corrupt, like that time, people like Muhammad ibn Ibrahim are sent to Abdullah Aftah. In this day and age, people are sent away from Islam, and especially away from this Islam. Because this Islam, this pure Islam, has it been given any coverage? This Islam of Ahlul Bayt, this Islam of peace, is it given any part in the news? One example I often mention with regards to this, a scholar says that there is a garden directly related to this. He says there is a garden. In this garden, public garden, there are different types of fruits. Different trees bearing different fruits. Anyone can come and eat the fruits. And the thing about this garden was that no one knew where this garden was. It was situated in such an area that the general public had no idea where it was. One individual had seen it. He had seen a signpost on the front. This is for anyone to come and eat. You can sit here, you can take the banana, the apple, whatever you want. Now he was very happy that I have this garden. It is for all individuals to come and eat. No one knows about it. No one knows about it. I can eat as much as I want. It's basically my garden. It's basically mine. I've seen it first, it's mine. So he comes every single day. He comes, for example, in the morning one day, next day he comes in the afternoon. He takes the fruit that he wants to eat. And he's happy that this was meant for everyone. I am blessed, I have all of this. He comes one day into this garden. He sees that there are 3 individuals in there. So obviously these 3 individuals, they somehow are passing by, they notice this sign. They notice that this is free fruit, this is a free garden for people to relax in, for everyone. So they were very happy that we have found something new. This individual who has, in his mind, mentally taken this to be his own property. Often you give someone something for free, they take advantage of it. You give them something for free, they say, we want more. So he saw these 3 individuals. He said, I am one. They are 3. How do I get rid of these 3 individuals? One, we are told, was an alim. One was a doctor. One was a normal individual, normal worker. He says, I will think about this. So the next day he comes, they are eating his fruit, he is looking at it. So suddenly he realizes that the normal person, the just general worker has gone somewhere, and the alim and the doctor are together. So he comes. He says, MashaAllah, you have a doctorate, you are a doctor, medical doctor, and MashaAllah, you are a alim of Hawza, you have studied for many years. Both of you have done great khidmah to the society, have served the society, are pearls in our society. You should eat from this and enjoy. But this individual, this normal individual, what has he done for us? Just a normal worker, he doesn't help the society. He's not like you, the doctor, who helps people, who treats people. He's not like you, the alim, that would wake up in the middle of the night to do someone's istikhara, and wake up in the middle of the night to lead funeral prayers. I think we should get rid of him. So they listen to this individual, and right enough, they get rid of that norm. They say, we don't want you here. Get out of this place. The next day, this individual comes, he sees the doctor is in front of him, the alim is, for example, picking at the banana tree. He says to this doctor, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, you treat illnesses, you are a great individual. These ulama, na'udhu billah, astaghfirullah, naqla kufr, kufr nabashad, as they say in Farsi. He said, these individuals, they just take our homes and cause fitna. And what is the need for these individuals? We need people like you in the society. The doctor was hyped up. He said, yes, I agree. They got rid of the alim as well. Now the next day when he comes, it is the doctor in front of him. He said, now it is one-on-one. He takes a bat. He says, get out. This is my property. This is the exact thing that many organizations or media, whatever you want to call it, is doing to us today. That they saw if they are together, we are unable to get rid of them. We want the fruits of wealth and the fruits of power. We will split them up slowly and remove them until all of the fruits in this example are ours. And so the media is doing whatever it can to disintegrate this religion of Islam. whatever. And you know examples better than me. You know that when one Muslim dies or 3 Muslim people die, there is no news coverage. One non-Muslim dies, it is on the news, for example, for a week. Why? In the way that the masjid at that time was, the media was corrupt, was pointing people to Abdullah Aftah. In the same way, the media today points people away from the religion of Islam. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim is told Abdullah Aftah is the Imam. He listens to the media of that time. He listens to the people. He says, I went to the house of Abdullah Aftah. When I went to the house of Abdullah Aftah, I saw many servants are in front of me. And I stopped to think, is this the house of an Imam? But I entered anyway. When I entered, I said to one of the servants, I want to see the Imam. I want to see Abdullah ibn Ja'far. He says, yes, wait here. After I sat for a bit, I entered in, I saw there's a beautiful carpet and beautiful pillows are there, and Abdullah Aftah is leaning. And again I thought, is this a house of an Imam? Expensive carpets and these type of things. But I thought I'll leave it to the Imam. If he is the Imam, he knows better than me. So I entered in. I sat down. He says, yes, my dear brother. I said, I am from Nashapour. I have this money to give you. And he gave some of the money to that individual. He says, I have certain questions to ask you. Can I ask? He said, ask. So I asked 2 or 3 questions. When he replied, I realized it is impossible that this individual can be my Imam. Because simple things he didn't know. I asked him a question of Hajj, he gave the wrong answer. I asked him what is the worth or what is the nisab in zakah if I have, for example, this many sheep, he didn't know. So I said, thank you very much for your service, and I left. Realizing that this cannot be my Imam. Someone that doesn't know basic masail of fiqh cannot be my Imam. I went back to the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And I began to weep and cry. That I have come all the way here with all of this money, with all of this wealth, with all of this responsibility, and I don't know who my Imam is. Shall I give this money to the Jews of Medina? Shall I give this money to the Christians of Medina? Who should I give this money to? As he is thinking about this, as he is lamenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are told suddenly he feels someone is calling him. Ya Muhammad. He says, I turned around. I saw a slave, someone that dressed as a servant. He said, come towards me. Why are you complaining and trying to give your money to a Jew and a Christian? And this is money of Muslims, give it to a Muslim. He says, I will take you to the true Imam, and he will answer the questions that Abdullah Aftah was unable to answer. She says, this person knew my name, this person knows I have questions, there's something special. So I followed him. Stop there again. I said Masjid al-Nabawi, and the masjid at that time was what? The media of that time. That individual who pointed towards Imam Musa ibn Ja'far was the positive media of the Shia of that time. When, for example, I'll give you an example. When the Charlie Hebdo took place, I was in Birmingham, because it was during the time of the birth of the Prophet of Islam and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. This issue had come upon, they had asked me to speak about it. I said one very basic thing. I said, look, what is our responsibility? They have, for example, released one video, one film about the Prophet of Islam. They have drawn, for example, 2 or 3 cartoons. It is our job to draw how many in promotion? To make how many films? 1, 2, 3? I said, no, as many as you can make. Because the more that you put on YouTube of who the Prophet of Islam actually was, the more things you write about who the Prophet of Islam actually was, the more likelihood it is that one person will read it. Your job is this and this only. And it is not just the job of the scholars. Because there are people, for example, who are experts in media, they should do something in media. There is someone who is a very good writer, they should write something. When, for example, an individual writes against Ahlul Bayt, writes against the Prophet of Islam, it is your job to get, for example, 30 individuals, to write 30 masterpieces praising the Prophet of Islam and spread it to as many people as you can. This is your job. That individual in Masjid al-Nabawi was the positive media that pointed towards Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. What positive media have we done? Have we done enough to point others to our Imam, to our religion, to our madhab of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam? Every single person. If you are good in maths, there's something for you to do. Whatever skill you have, you are liable to contribute to this positive media that is presenting Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam in the correct light. Like this individual. This individual says, Ya Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, go to the true Imam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. He says, I went. I took all of the things I had, the money that I had, the parcels that I had to Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. When I entered, I saw a very humble house. And my heart felt at ease. And I entered in and I saw the Imam. There was one slave only, this slave, this servant. And I saw that the Imam is sitting on a very simple type of bed. And the Imam says, Ya Muhammad, why didn't you come to me before? Allahu Akbar. Ya Muhammad, why did you go to other people? Why didn't you come to me directly? The Imam then takes the things, takes the parcels. The first thing he does, according to history, he says, where is that money and that handkerchief of who? Where is that money and handkerchief of Shaqiqa? Hundreds of thousands of pounds in today's language he puts aside. He says, where is that £1 that Shaqiqa had given to me? He looks at it. He takes it. He says, send my salams to that Shaqiqa and tell her this handkerchief. Look at the maqam, look at the status. Tell her this handkerchief that she has given me, I will make it part of my own kafan. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, I will make this handkerchief that she has given me part of my own kafan. He takes the others aside. He says, oh Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, you had certain questions. Shall I answer them? He says, yes. He took out the notes, all with the questions. When he looked at the pieces of paper, history tells us, automatically he saw under each question the answer was written at the end with a seal of the Imam. The Imam says to him, why didn't you not call me out before? Why did you not come to me before? In the West, when we have issues, when we feel our numbers are very little, the same thing. Why did you not call out your Imam? I mentioned yesterday, Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman calls out every single individual. How many times? Every single individual, by name, 100 times. Where are you? Why are you not calling out to me? Imam Musa ibn Ja'far tells Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, why did you not call out to me? I am the solution to your problems. If you live in the West, you have issues, you have problems. The society may be corrupt in certain places. You are unable to hold on to your faith in a strong way. Call out to your Imam. He is there for a certain reason. He is there for you to call him out. The reason why so many ulama have met the Imam, this is the scholars tell us, Allah Mehdi met the Imam. Oh, Muqaddas Aradabili. Recently ulama meet the Imam, 40, 50 years ago. The reason why so many people meet the Imam is the Imam is trying to tell us, I want to be with you. I'm meeting those people that are pure enough to see me. Why do you not call out to me? And I'll give you one example of this. One example. Ayatollah Al-Udhma Muhammad Ali Araki, Rahmatullah Ali, from Qom at one time was Marja of Taqleed. In the 90s, I think he passed away. Ayatollah Muhammad Ali Araki. In 1960s, 1966 or something like this, he was in his house in Qom. He mentions to the people that were sitting in his house. At the time, he was mujtahid. He mentioned to the people there in his house, he said that my daughter had not performed her wajib hajj. I told her, I'm a mujtahid, I'm a faqih. I told her, look, I have seen that you are mustati'. You have the capability to go to Hajj. There are two types of capability. The first is with health. The second is with wealth. If you have both, you are capable. Hajj is wajib on you at least once. He told his daughter, Hajj is wajib on you. That individual that dies without, for example, performing Hajj according to ahadith is what? According to ahadith, that individual who dies without performing Hajj is classified as a kafir, who was able to perform Hajj and didn't perform Hajj. He says, I gave a fatwa, I gave a hukam to my daughter, you have to perform Hajj, it is wajib on you. What if you die, for example, after this Hajj season? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive you. It is very clear. You have money, I will give you money. You have health, go and visit Baytullah al-Haram. Now the problem that happened that year is that her husband was unable to go with her and Ayatollah Araki was unable to go. So the people, the men in her family were unable to go with her for some reason, whatever it may have been. So she asks her father, Ayatollah Araki, can I then go alone? He says, yes, other women are going, you can go with them, do the Hajj. The important thing is do the Hajj, don't worry. What if you pass away? Don't wait for next year when I will go with you. Go for Hajj this year. So she goes. She says, I was standing, this is how many, 1966. She says, I was standing in Baytullah al-Haram, we were doing the Hajj. Suddenly a large group of Hujjaj had come from a certain country. 200, 300, 400, they started running in. I had lost my group. I was alone. My father Ayatollah Araki had told me, if you have any problems, continuously recite the dhikr, Ya Hafidhu, Ya Alim. Ya Hafidhu, Ya Alim. I was reciting. I saw all of these were coming. Many people pass away when there's such a large stampede of people. She is a woman, she is alone. I was right in the middle, I was scared. There was no man in the family with me. The women I was with, they had gone somewhere else. I was scared for my life. I was saying, Ya Hafidhu, Ya Alim. I looked at the Kaaba, I said, I am here in Baytullah al-Haram. Allah, will you not help me? Suddenly I heard a voice. Why don't you call out the Imam of your time? Ayatollah Araki mentioned this in his house. He says, my daughters heard this voice. Why don't you call out the Imam of your time? So I said, where is he? I didn't know where this voice was coming from. I said, where is he? The voice said, look in front of you. When I looked in front of me, I saw a very strange scene. I saw that there's this individual, I could only see him from the back, in ihram. And there is a 1 meter gap around him. All of you have heard Farazdaq, the story of Farazdaq and Imam Sajjad, salamullah alayhi. That Imam Sajjad comes in front of the Hujjaj, automatically they make their way, and Farazdaq writes his poetry. This is one of the blessings of the Imam, that they can go through a large group of people just by their presence. He says, I saw that the Imam is standing, he is doing tawaf, and there is at least 1 meter diameter surrounding him where no one is coming close to him. So I realized if I just stand behind him, I can do tawaf. So quickly I stood behind the Imam. And as the Imam is doing tawaf, I did the tawaf behind him. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. After I did all of the tawaf, the Imam disappeared. I don't know where he went. I said, look, I haven't just seen this. Other mu'mineen are here. So I called out to that voice that called out to me. I said, did the mu'mineen not also see the Imam? Look at the reply. Again I say, why do you not call out your Imam? Says, did the mu'mineen not see the Imam? The reply came from this voice. I didn't know where this voice came from. The reply came, yes, all of them have the belief. But because they don't call out the Imam, they do not benefit from Sahibul Asri wa Zaman. The biggest sin me included, the biggest sin we commit in our life is negligence of Imam al-Hujjah, salamullah alayhi. The biggest sin. If you call out your Imam, he will help you. Living in the West, you have all of these issues. Your Imam is there for a reason. Imam Musa ibn Ja'far says to Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, why did you not call out to me? Then the Imam says that take this handkerchief. This handkerchief comes from cotton which was owned by my grandmother Fatimiya Zahra. Give this handkerchief as a gift to Shatita. Tell her when you reach her in Nashapour, she will die 19 days after that. Give her 40 dirham. Tell her 16 of these dirham to spend on herself. The other 24 to give in sadaqah. And tell Shatita this, what? That I will come to do her burial prayers. She says, I went back. I had this with me. All of the money I had, everything, I was content. Imam was with me. The Imam was such, I was content. I was matma'in. When I came back, I said, where is this great lady, Shatita? I went to Shatita, I said, Shatita, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far has given his salam. He has given this handkerchief to you made from the cotton owned by who? Fatimiya Zahra, salamullahi alayhi. Why? Because Shatita had such connection with her Imam of her time. She said, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, salamullah alayhi, this is his right. Whether it is £1 or 1 million, I will give it to him. This firm conviction, even if I am far away from my Imam, even if I am far away from religiosity in the West, if I have this connection with my Imam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far says, I will come and do your prayer of janazah. And right enough, she passes away. The Imam comes and does the prayer of the janazah. And the Imam says, tell the Shia, tell them what? Tell the Shia if they act with Amalus Salih, they will help us. They will help Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. They will help the Imam of their time. And if they are following our path, we will come and do their funeral prayers. And without a doubt, I could give you examples all day, without a doubt, of people for whom Imam Mehdi salamullah alayhi has come and done funeral prayers for them. Without a doubt, there are examples. When you live in the West, when you have Islamophobia, when you have this media corrupting individuals, you have to remember, you have been given an Imam for a reason. Call out that Imam. Call out that Imam that, as I mentioned yesterday, is lamenting and weeping for the tragedies that we remember in these days. They say Ayatollah Al-Hoseine Al-Hakim, the great marja of Taqleed, he was in Jannatul Baqi. In Jannatul Baqi, Ayatollah Muhsin Hakim was standing there weeping and crying, profusely, tears flowing down his cheeks. Someone said, Sayyidina, the fact that you are crying so much, is this proof that the grave of Fatimah al-Zahra is in Baqi? He says, no. I am crying because the madhlumiyya of Zahra is such that we don't know where her grave is. We don't know where we can go and give condolences to Fatimah al-Zahra. This is Tuesday night. We remember Dua Tawassul. Dua Tawassul is that dua. When an individual comes to Imam Hassan Askari salamullah alayhi and says, Ya Imam, teach me the true way to send salawat on Ahlul Bayt, the Imam teaches him dua tawassul. If anyone has a haja today, whatever the haja may be, ask through the wasila of Fatimah al-Zahra. And this is the night to do this. Ask through this great lady of light. When the oppression increases, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the cry of an oppressed immediately reaches up to the heavens. Ask today of any haja that you have from Fatimah al-Zahra. These days do not come often when you are blessed to be in the company of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad ya bint Muhammadin يا قرة عين الرسول يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيحة عند الله اشفعي لنا. Ask your hajat يا وجيحة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله. They say Sheikh Abdul Zahra Al-Ka'bi rahmatullahi alayhi, Abdul Zahra Ka'bi, that individual that is born on the wilada of Zahra, that dies on the ayyam of her istishhad, that individual who spent his life as a servant of Zahra. Sheikh Abdul Zahra Ka'bi says, in my dream I saw Imam Hassan and Imam Al-Hoseine. I said to my masters, my salutations upon you, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein said to me, Ya Sheikh, why did you not mention that masa'ib of our lives? Sheikh Abdul Zahra says, Ya Aba Abdullah, all of my life I have mentioned the masa'ib of your life. Ya Mujtaba, all of my life I mentioned your masa'ib, your tragedy. Imam Hussein says, no, there is one tragedy that you did not mention. I said, which tragedy, Ya Imam? Tell me. He says, tell the people about this tragedy. He says, you did not tell them about the tragedy when the ribs of Zahra were broken behind the door, because this is the greatest tragedy in my life. Because I say this, when a person has a tragedy, what do? When a person has a tragedy, they beat their chest with their hands. But how oppressed is Zahra when she has a tragedy? She is unable to beat her chest because her chest has been covered with wounds. And if anyone today does not pray their salah, remember how Fatimah al-Zahra prayed her salah. They say Fatimah al-Zahra, when it came to the time of the prayer, Amir al-Mu'mineen would pick up the body of Fatimah al-Zahra. One hand would be on the wall, the other hand would be on her broken rib. ribs. They say Fatima to Zahra, this is the day, these are the nights when she is there in her door, in her house, and suddenly she hears that 70 people, according to some narrations, 70 people came to the door. They say, Ya Ali, ukhruj min ad-dar. Oh Ali, come out of the house. Fatima to Zahra says, I stood up, I ran towards the door. I said, Ali ibn Abi Talib is busy at this moment. Forgive me for this masa'ib is too great in the eyes of any individual, but masa'ib of Zahra has to be mentioned. Forgive me for these masa'ib. They say, according to some narrations, Zahra came to the door. The second Khalif tells Qunfud. What does he tell him? How can I mention these things? The second Khalif tells Qunfud, slap the face of Fatima. Slap the face of Fatima to Zahra. According to one narration, 6 individuals slap the face. They begin to slap the face of Fatima to Zahra, and she would cry, Wa Muhammadan, Muhammadan. The second Khalif said, سأحرق الباب ومن فيها سأحرق الدار ومن فيها. I will set this house on fire, whoever is in this house as well. Someone said, فيها Hassan wa Hussein. In this house is Hassan and Hussein. He says, when I will still set this on fire. Then someone says, فيها القرآن. In this house is the Quran. He says, when I will still set this house on fire. Then someone says, do you not know فيها فاطمة الزهراء المظلومة. He says, when I will still set this house on fire. They put the wood and the fire was placed in front of the door. As they began to set this door on fire, Zahra says, I was standing behind the door to protect the religion of Islam, to protect Amirul Mu'mineen. And suddenly an individual says, how did they push this door? Did they push the door with their hands? No. These animals, how did they push the door? He says, one individual took his leg and he began to kick this door. He says, I realized that Zahra is beneath it, and I pushed this door on the body of Zahra. As-salamu alayki ya kasiratan. As the door fell on the body of Zahra, Zahra says, as my ribs were broken, Muhsin became shaheed. And I said, Ya Fidda, khudini, Fidda, hold on to me. Muhsin has become shaheed today. And they say that there were 3 individuals in the history who've had their ribs broken. The first individual to have the ribs broken were the ribs of Fatima to Zahra. The second individual, we are told, as the poet says, أترى تجيء فجيئة بأمن من تلك الفجيئة. What tragedy, Ya Mehdi. حيث الحسين حيث الحسين على الثرى خيل الإدى تحنى الدلوء. The greatest tragedy when Hussein is on the plains of Karbala and the hooves of the horses crush the ribs of Abdullah. The third individual, according to some narrations, whose ribs were also broken, was that son of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba on the day of Ashura. They say when Qasim's body was on the ground and he was still alive, Horses from one end of Karbala ran across his body, and from the other end ran across his body in such a way that the ribs on the right side went to the left side of his body, and the ribs on the left side went to the right side of this body. But I say that when the ribs of Zahra were crushed, Hassan and Hussein were watching, and when the ribs of Qasim were being crushed, Hussein was still alive. But I send my salam to that woman who was called al-Masa'ib, because she sees the ribs of Zahra being broken, then she sees the ribs of Hussein, then she sees the ribs of Qasim ibn al-Hassan. But they say when the door was dropped onto the body of Zahra, according to some narrations, a nail that was in the door, what happens to that nail? The nail begins to pierce the body of Zahra, and as the poet says, وَلَسْتُ أَدْرِي خَبَرَ الْمِسْمَارِ سَلْ صَدْرَهَا خُزَامَةَ الْأَسْرَارِ الْبَابُ وَالْجِدَارُ وَالدِّمَاءُ الْبَابُ والدماء شهود صدق ما به خفاء، لكن كسر الذل ليس ينجبر إلا بصمصام عزيز مقتدر، رزية ما مثلها رزية ما مثلها رزية. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء المذلوبة المغصوبة حقها.